10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Bounty hunter.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I wasn't talking because I didn't unmute my mic. Excellent stuff. Either way, folks, welcome. We got Team Alternate versus Team Spirit. We're going to be seeing whether Alternate can do it again. And already, Phoenix banned out because them's the rules. Beastmaster 2, IO as well. So we get to see Doom and Bounty Hunter making it through. How you feeling about this one, Scan?
Well, to start with, Spirit's draft looks much more meta than last draft did. So these are, Bounty and Doom are both extremely solid starts to the draft. Spirits are going to have a totally different approach, given that they're the ones with the lone druids. It already signals that they might go for a push timing. I'm interested in terms of Alternate's 2 picks, if Darkseer and Doom might actually lane together. It's something that roaming Fortune Doom, I've seen people do Darkseer Bounty, Darkseer Earth Spirits. I think that the Doom can actually play a similar role, but it's not a combination that we do see that often, but it's one that can work. Well, Spirits, the one thing I'd say about Spirits drafts is that there's a minor warning sign in the sense that Bounty Hunter and Lone Druid both, how do I say this? They both sort of directional in terms of what they provide to the team in the early game and the mid game. Lone Druid is right clicks, that's what he is. He pushes and he right clicks you and entangles you. Bounty Hunter doesn't really deal much damage. He's trying to build up the track, he's trying to harass you but in lane. So what I was about to say, they need a hero like a Puck. They need a tempo controller which really has a lot of brings more to the table than another kind of mid might to make up for the fact that your Lone Druid is just right click and your Bounty Hunter is neither of them is very versatile what they can apply to the game, and so you bring out this versatile hero in the pack which can fill in the gaps.
I really like seeing the Puck. It does feel like this patch still really rewards that aggressive, if mid can make stuff happen early, which a Puck can certainly do, be it with just going that Veil Rush, which helps Puck get to the blink a little bit faster and have a lot more damage impact, or even just getting a blink up early and dropping Dream Coils every time it's on cooldown. But we'll see how Team Alternate respond. So far they have the Darkseer and the Doom, both 2 heroes that can be pretty hard to kill. Might be a little difficult for Bounty Hunter to find the kills that he needs to get up early levels.
Yeah, I mean, if the Doom is jungling, the Bounty Hunter can try and go bother him there. I'm not sure if the Doom's going to just start in the jungle. It's also, these days, the Bounty harassing junglers is a lot more difficult to do than it was in the past, because there's that extra jungle camp at the off lane. And a lot of the junglers, especially Doom, for example, doesn't really need to, this is not like a jungle Legion or Axe or something. It doesn't just sit and farm and farm and farm. You get a creep and you go do something. You get another creep and you go do something. And so if Bounty Hunter's plan is just to irritate a jungling Doom, it can be inefficient. It can actually be better value for the Doom.
Well, Alternate taking ages on this next pickup. Really want to find something. They haven't revealed too much either. Obviously Doom has received some nerfs, so we'll see what it's as effective with the Infernal Blade changes to harassing, but it's going to be Invoker. And in case you folks don't follow, Alternate Supreme has a really good Invoker. They have taken down some tier 1 teams before with Supreme playing the Invoker.
Yeah, there was a. I think I remember a big match where they beat Virtus Pro when at a stage where Virtus Pro were pretty good with Supreme Invoker. Although Virtus Pro is seeming a lot better now again, so not trying to go they're bad. They were before. Now they're seeming pretty decent again from Epicenter. Not too sure, but yeah. Back to this drops. It's Spirit to pick up the Disruptor this time. And I make this comment every time I see this support combination, so I make it now. Disruptor and Bounty Hunter is a extremely bad defensive support combination. You have sometimes Glimpse, sometimes Kinetic Field can do defensive things, but neither of them are really heroes that save people. So if Alternate get on the aggressive and they have like some kind of early advantage and momentum, the supports are not going to help at all. So it's now at this stage in the draft, it's pretty clear that Spirits need their games to start well. And they wanted last game, they wanted their draft to start well and felt like they drafted towards that, but it just didn't happen. So I guess what I'm saying is that if the game starts similarly to last game with Alternate getting ahead quite quickly, it's gonna be very bad for Spirit yet again.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. We'll see what they can pull out here. I do like the heroes they have so far. They have some good team fight, and of course Lone Druid can really help them take objectives. It's good to have both of those. But Alternate, again, they've got a really strong pair of roaming heroes, and they performed so well with the Phoenix last game and the Disruptor, who I weren't thinking of as ideal roamers. I'd be surprised if they can't do well with a Bane and a Doom, who are so great together.
Yeah, and Bane is. I mean, these are also both supports that Bounty Hunter doesn't really get much done against in terms of like annoying them or harassing them. So I feel like at this point, Bounty Hunter's job, if I'm the Bounty Hunter looking at those heroes, your job is to go on Invoker all the time. You and Puck are gonna try and just keep going on that Invoker, and if you fail at that, there isn't really much more for Bounty Hunter to get done. You can try and link up with your Disruptor and go for those super early aggressive kills in other lanes, but on your own, Bounty Hunter just roaming into the lanes, it's
10 seconds
he's
remaining.
typically Bounty can go between the jungling hero, the roaming hero, the supports at the end, the mid, but I just think when there's a Bane and a Doom involved, it's not, you don't really have those options. He's probably gonna spend all his time, he's hoping to shut down the Invoker.
Yeah,
it's Supreme Invoker, right? So
yeah, difficult task. They go for the Clinks. I do like this from Team Spirit. It feels like Clinks is often a hero, forces you to expend a lot of resources with the invisibility. Very much something I think Havost can have a good time with, and does help them if they do win team fights and taking objectives. And there are a couple of heroes to pick off here, but it's not something that it feels like if it goes super late can necessarily stack up against the Spectre.
no, it's good against the Spectre in the sense that Spectre likes to farm off on his own in a separate lane and expect that Dagger and Haunt can just get him away or get him to the fights. And Clinks, I was talking about how Spirit don't really have saving supports, neither do Alternate. So in that lane stage situation, Clinks might be able to pick off some Spectre, that'll be really nice. And it's also something nice about Clinks is that you can play it as picking off the people when they split push when you're pushing, but it's also just quite good at pushing itself. Does a lot of damage outputs as hard as you get the Desolator, you got a Clinks and a Lone Druid, and suddenly you're threatening the push. So I think Spirit have all the tools for the game to go well if the game starts well for them. I think they have very few tools for the game to go well if it starts poorly for them. Alternate's maybe a bit less dependent on having a good early game.
Let's get into it. For Team Spirit, we've got Gold Black on that Bounty Hunter. Clinks being played up by Havost. Position 1 himself. Iceberg playing that Puck, which I'm pretty excited to see. Ghostic on Lone Druid. And finally, Funnick on the Disruptor. Tossing it over to you, Scant, to introduce Alternate.
Alternate have Nisha playing offlane Darks here. He's got a Sentry Ward ready for himself. Supreme Invoker going into the mid lane. Doesn't actually have a Sentry. The Bane will be played by L. The Doom is holding that second Sentry is Catch-Saw. And the safe lane is obviously Exotic. They're playing the Spectre this game. So Sentry does go up in the mid lane. It's there early, and this is always the to watch out for when you have a bounty going into Invoker. If the Sentry manages to stay up for the first few minutes of the game or not. And he's coming around. Goblak, he's gonna be up there for sure. It's just like who's got a quicker reaction time, who's gonna eat the other person's Sentry kind of thing. I think Goblak gets it here.
Yeah, I think so too. He is actually just coming up. He's not invised or anything. He's just there. I don't know, I think that's pretty funny that he didn't bother to, force out the sentry detection. But if it causes Supreme to ignore whilst hitting a little bit, it can still work out. Havo's actually taking a lot of damage very close to the creep wave. It's like being a ranged hero up against the dogs here. Like he just needed to walk on by and took some damage there.
Okay, so Goblak runs into the middle and actually places his sentry right in front of Supreme, and Supreme just eats it. Which, by the way, also gives you it's like eating
but he
one of
can't
the
do it again.
branches.
Yeah, unfortunately for Supreme, he cannot do it again since he has the shared tangos. Do they have another sentry about? They have Dust on the Doom, and he's also got the healing salve so that Supreme doesn't have to worry about the courier going down.
Yeah, and he's got Infernal Blade, he's got a tap, so they definitely could kill the boss if they get into the right position relative to him, and he's found him here, so I don't think there's the catch potential.
They need the bounty to go invisible. They're going to open onto Iceberg using that cold snap. Now the tornado. Iceberg doesn't have the orb. Will the auto attack be enough? It doesn't look like Supreme can get in range. And even though Puck got pretty low there, no cigar.
Yeah, that clap didn't quite hit. It would have been a pretty easy kill, I think, if it did. But okay, so Doom and Bounty Hunter irritating each other in the river. It is the Doom who gets the Bounty, and he's slightly more than half a level ahead of Bounty Hunter.
Easy for Doom to farm with that Devour. Gonna do it again. He still does have Dust. He has the Infernal Blade. He's gonna go for it. Invoker now coming around as well. They will open up on Goldblack with the Cold Snap. That'll be our first blood. Going over to Supreme, and exactly what they don't want on Spirit.
Yeah, and the really bad thing about this is that Fnatic had also made a rotation to the mid lane, like hoping for them to make an offensive move, and his rotation's pretty wasted now at this point. Like, okay, you can send the illusions in, get like 1 or 2 hits off, but Fnatic's been doing nothing, and Nisha's been getting maybe a little more space than he would have. Disruptor does have Glimpse up. Clinks is really pushing against Darkseer with a Glimpse involved. I almost feel like Darkseer can't get XP while the Disruptor's here, so it's a pretty big deal if the Disruptor was at the mid lane.
Yeah, very difficult now for the Puck. Well, up in top lane, Goldblack heads up there, tries to see if he can get something done while the creep pull's going on. Both Exotic Deer and Havost getting a good amount of Puck, but it's actually... Sorry, good amount of fall. But it's actually the Puck who's the top of the last hit.
Yeah, so that's... And you could say that Goldblack's had a huge success in this lane. Doesn't matter that he won't died, and he does die not at the top lane, but the Puck has... Iceberg's farm is ridiculously good, and Supreme's farm is non-existent at the moment. So I think that, if you could tell Goblak these are relative CSs, he'd be totally fine at the fact that he died first blood.
Yeah, I think it's actually, I'm really surprised how far ahead the Puck is. It doesn't feel like this is a matchup that should be so punishing for Supreme, but he's just having a lot of trouble. Of course, couldn't go Exhort, expecting the Bounty Hunter to be around, and I guess just doesn't have enough damage, or didn't have enough damage early on.
I think Puck does out CS the Invoker when it's cross-works usually, especially if there's a little bit of pressure from a support. But it's a big gap, and that's... Iceberg gets credits, he's a lane dominator. They can actually try and kill Supreme now.
Yeah. We'll see if it works out. Bounty Hunter's coming in as well. They have the Haste of Doom going off to Iceberg. They'll give him the Infernal Blade. He, of course, has the Orb on over. He jumps up to the high ground. They can't see him, so they can't use the Nightmare or anything. Not even sure if Bane... Yeah, Bane does have the Nightmare leveled by now.
That's going to give Supreme quite a lot of space to farm. He probably lasted all the creeps in this wave, maybe. No, not the next wave, but yeah, Puck has a TP to base, so it's several creeps for Invoker to catch up on. It's also XP for the Bounty Hunter to catch up on, so not necessarily a win for either side. But yeah, I just wanted to say Iceberg is he's a lane dominator. We've talked about it in the past. Every team Iceberg is in just seems like when he's having a great game, the team's going well, and when he's having a poor game, the team can never really get anything done. So he's very much that kind of I don't want to use the word volatile. He exists on the extremes though. He can have super great games, and he also has some games where, because it's not going well, it feels like everything's hopeless for the team.
I think it's well known against Team Spirit that Iceberg is one of the pillars of their team. You shut him down, you're gonna have a good game. Exotic Deer as well might be in a little bit of trouble. Actually eats his mango. Not 100% sure why, but they go for the open up on him. They manage to get the root proc. He does, of course, try to get into the trees. He will be sent home, actually, into the trees there because of that savage roar, helping him out a little.
Yeah, eat panic mango or something. I don't know. Spidey sense tingling, they go on me. Okay, quick, eat a mango. I don't know.
Speaking of Spidey sense down bottom, they're both going to be able to get away. Funnick taking quite a bit of damage from the creeps, but should be just fine. And this rotation from Alternate doing nothing either.
Supreme TP in here. This is like a level 5 Invoker and even level 6 here. Like, they're gonna want to get something out of this.
Oh, they're going for it. Habos taking a bit of damage here. He has that Ghost Walk. And that'll be it. There's no follow-up.
Yeah, so a wasted rotation from Alternate now. I mean, both teams have been making these rotations that haven't quite started. The CS leaders are very much on Team Spirit right now. But it is Alternate to have the 2-kill lead, so that's gonna have the metrics not that far away from each other. It's a small lead for Team Spirit, but it's not. You know, there's a lot of the time recently. I think we're going back to states in the current patch where the laning stage is not that big in a lot of games. It's kind of the 5 minutes after laning stage that are much more shaping of the early game.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite a bit, but obviously it feels like Dota shifted a bit from where the style where every CS counts, where we had those CS monsters, right? They didn't miss a single one. 80 lost hits, 10 minutes in, everything's going groovy, to a bit more flexibility since there's so much more that can happen, and with kills being worth a lot more than the creeps.
Is there kill chance in bot lane?
Oh, that's where they're going to be headed in. Havost is taking quite a bit of damage, has been dusted. Exotic is going after him with the Ion Shell, and the TP will stop. Havost going down. They'll get themselves some business on their Spectre.
Oh, mid lane. It's the other way around again.
Oh no, L is gonna fall. Supreme in a lot of trouble as well. He manages to eat the Fairy Fire, may just be able to walk away popping those wand charges.
It's interesting, when Bane TPs, the Invoker could have TP'd as well, actually just recognizing they don't have enough damage. It's fine, I'll be able to run. The coil runs out, so it takes a little bit of composure. That's impressive work from Supreme. Okay, Bounty places a ward which was spotted, so that's going to be very easily counted now, as soon as someone brings a sentry.
Nice little thing there for Alternate. They've also decided to leave Spectre down bottom. Deciding that Lone Druid, they don't need to pay too much attention to him, but of course he's just going to make quick work of his tower the moment you leave him alone.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Spectre to be farming alone top lane. Actually, it's pretty difficult against all the Lone Druid, to be honest.
Oh, we have another engagement in middle. Tornado gonna go out. Oh, Gold Black, he does finally go down to the Infernal Blade, but they're also gonna lose their Doom. Support for support. And both kills, actually one going over to the Clinks, one going over to the Doom. So, in favor of Team Spirit.
Yeah, I would say that Spirit's game plan is going pretty well at the moment. I mean, I was talking about how their draft is pretty good if they start ahead, and yeah, you look at the kill score and it looks like they're behind, but they're...
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Disruptor is supported. The point is that the heroes they want to progress are hitting the progression they want, so Goblak probably shouldn't
getting
be
very
dying
low,
here.
the Surge, they're trying to get it 5 more seconds. Goldblack, they need an auto attack on this fellow. They're not gonna get it. Oh, Exotic Deer went slightly the wrong way. Does have enough mana now. No, doesn't matter, but he gets it with the bloody Ion Shell. Oh my goodness, Exotic Deer. I thought for sure that when the Spectral Dagger went wide, he was going to get nothing. He will get brought down. He most likely, Havosts can't see him. They know that he's there, but they just can't find him. Exotic Deer hiding for his life in the trees.
He's sending
coming.
himself a TP. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But he's actually gonna be fine, incredibly. That's...
Oh, he still could. This could still go really south if they keep looking for him. The courier could die, all of this fun stuff. But it looks like they've turned their attention to Nito, who's going to try to actually run by their tower. Gets glimpsed backwards. Still isn't dead yet, taking quite a bit of damage from the searing arrows. Oh, now he's going to run into the Disruptor, but there it is, the Nightmare, and the courier has finally arrived for Exotic Deer.
Well, the good news is he's going to have haunts. He just has to heal up. He can haunt back in, fight straight away, and... Looks like that might actually be a thing because the rest of the team Alternate is all chasing a Disruptor.
Although they all get caught up by this kinetic. Oh, the Tornado, he's gonna manage to dodge it, but he can't dodge. Spectre hits like a truck. Exotic Deer comes back in with that haunt. And now again, 7-2 in favor of Alternate. They're not pulling far ahead because, as you mentioned, the CS, but they're doing a really admirable job of staying in this one with kills.
Yeah, it's just the scary thing for me is that the item timings are coming for Team Spirits. They're coming quite fine, and Goblak, even though he's died a bunch of times, he, I mean, really a bunch. He's 0 for 4, half of those deaths. He's nearly got level 6, and this is like the fact that all those kills are on Bounty Hunter and the fact that he's almost level 3 anyway. I feel like Spirits are doing a little bit better. They're gonna
they're gonna go, but immediately the Fiend's Grip onto Iceberg. Invoker still isn't dead. Is trying to run around here, not taking damage. Her Ghost getting very low too. Doom needs one more auto attack or so, but no, the Ghost team manages to get caught out there. The Dust doing good work, and somehow Supreme survives. Meanwhile, on bottom, they took down the tower. Did some more harass to Goldblack, and Alternate not out of it yet.
Yeah, so it's that's actually the play that's the first play that's, I mean, we've seen so many players where Alternate come ahead in terms of kills. That's the first one that's really a big deal. It's 2 cores, having the tower, dying and achieving nothing well. They lose the tower on the other side of the map. So in terms of the actual swing, in terms of like item timings and gold and who's got a lead, that's one that matters. That's, I think, also, yeah, if you look at the graphs, they've got gold and XP lead now, which they didn't have up until this point.
Yeah, that graph's looking rather steep because we're so shortly into this game. Don't know, the graph isn't, the scale's all wrong, is what I'm trying to say here. So.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, I've been going on about how Spirits draft want to hit their timings and have momentum early on, and I felt like even kills behind they still had that. But this is like it kind of throws a bit of a spanner in the works, those couple of deaths there.
Oh, and now they're going for another one. They've doomed up Goldblack. He is dusted, takes the Infernal Blade. It looks like Cancel has backed on out, gets the kill. Should be able to get out of here. Oh no, doesn't have a TP. Is just gonna have to wander away from Pavos. Meanwhile, other people are converging. Bane invisible. Oh gosh, there's the glimpse back onto Cather. Will they find a way to turn this one around? It is looking like Doom is dead, but there is still supports coming in.
Spectre's got Haunt, just needs to heal. Spectre's gonna heal up and they're gonna Fiend's Grip someone and Haunt in, I think.
Oh, they're looking for Iceberg. It's most likely gonna be Iceberg. There's the Fiend's Grip immediately going out. Spectre comes on in. It's salving as well, and Iceberg goes down. Invoker getting another kill under his belt. They even actually try to stop Spectre from getting Disruptor. A nice catch there by Exotic Deer. Still going forwards for it. Has support on the way, but doesn't have enough mana for that dagger. The Tornado not quite long enough. And Exotic Deer will just take quite a bit of damage, but will not get the kill.
Yeah, so the third core, we haven't been talking about that much, but the one that's totally unobstructed on the side of Spirits has been Ghostic. Ghostic has not got a death yet this game, 0-0-0, classic Lone Druid score. And farm going really well, net worth leader. So that's the one concern for Alternates. It's the one sense in which they're not taking the lead in the game, and Lone Druid is the importance of the cores when it comes to items times. So they're gonna give him some attention now. Doom doesn't have ulti, and I don't think they have a way to go for this kill. In the meantime, Supreme actually goes down the mid lane.
Fortunately, they were not able to catch out anyone else on top lane, so yeah. We'll get lost in middle. Iceberg, we haven't talked about it too much. Iceberg saving up a lot of money, not going to go for that Veil, even though Iceberg had a fantastic start. As you talked about, Supreme and Ghostic have overtaken him.
Yeah, he might. I mean, I think it's the right choice to go for the Rush Blink in this game because, as I was saying before, you have very like one-dimensional heroes in Bounty Hunter and Lone Druid, and the puck has to be versatile in this lineup. Even though Lynx is one-dimensional in the sense that it's just right clicks. So in terms of like adding control to the fight, you really only have your puck.
Oh, in mid lane, there's gonna be the glimpse. He actually just walked out of the static storm. L getting away. And now it's going to be Kasser trying to see if he can find up the Bounty Hunter again. Will not be able to this time, but Puck, meanwhile, will jaunt down. No, decides against it, in a little bit of trouble. No, actually ends up killing off L on the back line. EMP will come out, will not hit the Puck. Nice phase shift there, coming out from Iceberg. Now going to jaunt down to the lower ground. And should just be on and out of here. Iceberg being incredibly slippery.
Yeah, Iceberg doing his job. Doing it very well. And that's the concern. I mean, Horst is like a little bit slowed down the timings he'd want, but he's really okay. Iceberg's doing well. Lone Druid's, yeah, Ghostic is doing phenomenally. Gonna have a relic pretty soon. So in terms of the item timings, in terms of the hero timings, Spirit looking totally fine again. There was like a minor hiccup where a few important kills did happen, especially where they dived that mid tier 1. But they've stabilized again, and look, this is a difficult game going forward in terms of like either team would win a couple fights in a row. The one side you have a Spectre, and you got a Doom who's got Devour Gold and Invoker with Midas. The other side, you've got also the potential to snowball. Lone Druid can just suddenly take your objectives off the fight. He's got a Midas, Bounty's on track. So both of these teams could actually get a huge chunk of gold lead if they just win a big fight, converts an objective.
Yeah, it's not going well. Sorry, I would say it's pretty even. I guess I wouldn't say it's not going well, but it's really even for both teams. The smoke will be broken by Doom, gonna run right into them. There's the static storm, immediately drops. Spectre haunts on in, isn't caught in the kinetic field, but there it is, the Dream Coil trying to deal with this Doom. Puck in a lot of trouble, is gonna phase shift off the next auto attack, is thrown up in the air. Tornado gonna kill off the Puck, and in the end, it'll be 2 for 1. Havos going down, and now Phonics soon to follow one more auto attack. And the tracks may be there, but they're not getting the kills.
So this is something I was trying to talk about this earlier. The Disruptor and Bouncer, when you realize, oh crap, the fight's going badly, we're actually losing the fights, those heroes do nothing. They do like, it's not like they don't have like a, okay, turn on defensive mode. They have to run away and just hope they don't die. Then they don't have anything they contribute. So it's an awkward thing for Spurs in terms of their draft that their support duo is only good on the offensive. It's not very good at all on the defensive.
We'll also have to see. It's still pretty even. Obviously, there's going to be a swing from that team fight, but this is still very much 17 minutes in within about 2,000-3,000 gold. It's not like Team Spirit. Everything is even. As Scant said, one team fight could really snowball it. I have to say, I wonder what they're going to pick up next on the Puck, whether it'll be a Yule's, a nice defensive item there, or something else. Because when you're dealing with a Doom, life can get pretty difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Although Doom has a cast time, and he doesn't have a blink dagger, so I think Puck should be able to juke and dive, kind of dodge Doom quite often. I don't think we're yet at the point in the game where he has to be that scared about the likelihood of being caught unawares by Doom.
Oh gosh, the courier, Havos, he wants it! You can see he really wants that courier. But he decides not to go against it. It probably was a death wish, unfortunately, going for that courier. Tornado will fly out now. Also to mention Supreme, he's getting some good levels, already level 12. So he's got quite the toolkit on this Qualifier Invoker.
Yeah, so interestingly, Havos is actually, I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know if this is going to become the common thing, but Blightstone is Blightstone's actually part of Medallion, and he finished the Medallion and bought that, like,
yeah, and now he'll go Deso. This is the build that we've been seeing on a lot of Clinks recently. Clinks being picked up a lot in this tournament. L actually finds a Havos right there. Going to manage to get on L and Havos Nightmare up. L just needs to stay away, is tracked up. Puck still hunting for that, but in the meantime, Bounty Hunter goes down. A nice vacuum onto 3. Will it be enough? The Doom has already come out. Static Storm now also on top of 3 of them. Exotic Gear able to get out of that because he's not trapped in the kinetic field. But Nisha forced to run away. Havos, whether he has his burning spears or not, pounding away into him. And alternate handily lost that fight while Puck just jumping all over the places, eventually finding L on the Bane.
Yeah, the one good thing for Alternate is I don't think any of the kills were track kills. I think the Bounty Hunter was the first one to die. So it could have been a lot worse for them if those were 3 track kills instead of just 3 kills.
We were saying before the fight broke out, the Clinks build that we've been seeing most frequently in at least this tournament so far, and in a couple other games, it's been the Medallion into the Deso. Some players have been finishing the Soul Crest first, but so they don't, usually Medallion.
But they're
Deso.
all going Medallion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiend's Grip onto Havos. Whether Invoker can get here in time, it looks like he has. There'll be the Brain Sap, gets the kill.
It's interesting to me. I wonder if it's to do with the Blightstone build-up, because Medallion actually fell out of popularity for quite a long time in Clinks, and people were just rushing straight Desolator for a long time. So it's, I don't know, it's certainly new to me to see both of them. It's not like it's unprecedented, obviously. It's just Medallion got nerfed, right? And then people were just buying it less.
Oh. I think it's the Blightstone. A lot of teams, we've even seen, it didn't happen this game, but we've seen a lot of experimentation as well with the Bounty Hunter. When the Blightstone came out, some folks getting the Blightstone instead of the Orb of Venom, some folks getting both the Blightstone and the Orb of Venom, and then getting a Windlace instead of boots to have that mood speed. Obviously, these new items, what, the patch has been live 3 weeks now? It's not, we're not, like, figured out at all.
Yeah, it feels slightly more defined than usually this early in the patch, just because there was like the huge tournaments already. There were 2 tournaments, and one of them was massive. But while like for Spectre, that's pretty big. I think, yeah, Lone Druid's already got the whole Radiance, but in some ways, the Spectating Radiance is maybe a bigger timing in this game, because the Disruptor and the Bounty Hunter really aren't going to live through the first 1 or 2 fights involving that Spectre Radiance.
On the other hand, Ghostic has really done a good job here of becoming a core Lone Druid. He has timings that are more appropriate for the safe lane Lone Druid than they are for the off lane. So Ghostic is fat, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, I think Spirits are looking slightly better now. I think, you know, in terms of the actual item itself, Radiance, the Spectres might have a bigger impact fight, but the Lone Druid's Radiance is more like a signal of, this is how strong we can push all your towers, and that's what they're doing.
Well, meanwhile, it will just be the trade. Obviously, Spirit pushes way faster with both the Burning Spears and the Lone Druid's Bear, which hits towers like a... I don't know, something that demolishes things. Hits towers like a stack of dynamite. That's about all I got. But they will take the tower. Suddenly, all of this bottom lane, no more towers. And Roche control, despite being Radiant, Spirit just got a lot more control of that.
Yep. Absolutely, it's not out of the question for them to take down the Roche, especially when you have a King's of Those minus armor, Lone Druid pretty farmed. They're not gonna go for it just yet, but you're right, it could go either direction. Is it a Smoked Bane heading down? Spectre could haunt in, but he's got no other backup.
Yeah, I think it was just for ward placing. This is a smoke to get some vision out.
He's thinking about Pickle. He's hanging around.
Fortunately, no one's going to come close enough. No one alone. Both the Bounty Hunter and the Lone Druid have great ways of disrupting the Fiend's group. There it is. Radiance done up on the Spectre.
This reminds me of last game, except in the opposite direction, where we were saying Sven's BKB timing. This is like, I feel like Spirits have a bit of a lead here, and Alternate really needs to get a good value out of the first usage of Haunted Radiance, and that's what they're going to try and do. They've got 4 heroes smoking up. They're going to try and start a fight, Haunted, introduce the Radiance, and hopefully get a few kills. They wouldn't really be satisfied with just the support kill on the Disruptor, which...
Unfortunately, it looks like what they're getting. They throw out the dust because they don't actually see the Disruptor. Because it's nighttime, they completely missed the Disruptor, thought that they got their smoke broken by the Bounty Hunter, and not even going to walk away with the support, walking away with nothing.
Yeah, so that's pretty unfortunate. And Lone Druid he's almost got an entire pipe, I believe. Bounty Hunter's pretty finishing mech, and once those timings are hit, suddenly, if Spirits are 5-manning, Spectre's Radiance is completely countered by having a pipe and a mech at the same time as the Radiance comes out. It's, you know, if anything, I think that those 2 items tank you and heal you more than the Radiance will deal in that fight, unless it lasts very long.
Meanwhile, L doing a really good job of getting rid of some Dire Vision again, deep in Radiant. Sorry, getting rid of Radiant Vision. Deep in Radiant Jungle, L is just being a right nuisance there. Meanwhile, Nisha, we haven't talked too much about the dogs here. Has the Blink, has the mech. Obviously made some decent impact last team fight, but...
Yeah, it's a classic combo. Darkseer, Spectre, throw in Invoker really helps.
Yeah, but they're gonna both be stuck in the kinetic field. There is the glimpse backwards. Maybe to haunt to someone else. Does in fact go over onto the Bounty Hunter. Meanwhile, Invoker coming on in is tracked up immediately. Gets Dream Coil and Silence, and the Bear doing too much damage. Gets Nightmare. The Supreme caught in the Static Storm. Will be managed to Yule up, but it's not looking great for Supreme. Will go down there. Spectre does pick off Lone Druid elsewhere on the other side of the fight, and Puck takes out the Bane.
Yeah,
so
Spectre
it looks
almost killed the Disruptor too. I think if they got the Disruptor, it would have been an okay fight. Still a win for Spirits, but as things stand, the change is very favorable for Spirits, especially include all the tracks.
Yeah, it does feel like Alternate need quite a bit more on their Spectre to drive this one home, and a really nice defense from Spirit. Nisha gonna Glimmer Cape up. Not the item I was expecting on the docks here.
Yeah, well, justifies itself right there. We see what kind of value it can provide, but yeah, I think that Alternate recognized that they're actually the team under pressure. They had Spectre's Radiance up for a while. They initially tried to use it, didn't get any value, and then they forced it a little bit there because they want to get something during the window before the the pipes and the next round of items will come up. Unfortunately, they don't get that much. Now he's a pack Ags now. So I think I don't know, currently things are looking pretty good for Team Spirit. We still, look, you gotta keep in mind what I've said several times. Bounty Hunter Disrupts are really not your defensive supports, so if the fight starts badly for Spirit, it could become a massacre. It's gonna help the Bounty Hunter will have a mech soon, then he can actually, do something defensive. But it's very much, I think the game is still close enough that initiation is the most important thing when it comes to fights. Who gets the initiation? How do they initiate? The thing that I'm most concerned about for alternates is that the Doom is so ridiculously unfarmed. I mean, we talked about earlier on, Doom could get away with not being that damaged by Bounty Hunter, but this Doom has really spent no time farming this game. Like, so Bounty's overtaken him now. There's all these track kills. The Doom is, he's had the same items forever, and he hasn't spent time farming. He's just been trying to fight and be with his allies.
On the other hand, on Team Spirit, as you mentioned, we've got Bounty Hunter working towards a mech, and then once he has the Guardian Greaves, of course, doesn't have to worry about dust very much anymore. In other news, Puck has picked up an Aghanim Scepter. Iceberg doing a good job of keeping up in farm with the Lone Druid, which is really impressive considering the Midas. And we'll be seeing a sharp gold swing in favor of Team Spirit. They are just out farming this map.
Yep, and I think it's going to continue to be that way, barring a positive fight for alternates. I suppose you could say the good news is that I think the Spirit actually wants to fight as well. So it's not like Spirits are going to try and avoid fights and just farm. They want to fight. They themselves, I think, it looks like they're going to go for a smoke clear. But the bad news for alternates is that it's a more difficult fight for them to win. If they get a better initiation, they could still be fine. Are they going to smoke straight into each other?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be it. The dust has been thrown out her both. There'll be a nice vacuum back, but it doesn't do enough. Tornado goes on through. Static Storm doesn't catch anyone. Bane already dead. Herbo's doing good work there. They finally bring him down, but what a mess of a fight. The Doom in a lot of trouble. The Bear, they have nothing to handle this thing. Glimpse backwards onto Nisha. The rest of his team trying to come back to do something, but Supreme may just sacrifice his life too if he's not careful. The Doom getting very low. One more auto attack from the Bear. Puck will actually be the one to jump in and finish him off. And the Ice Wall too little too late. A 3-for-1 in favor of Spirit.
Yeah, including tracks. So again, it's gonna be a pretty huge swing, and I don't know. I keep coming back to the Doom. I feel like at some points along the alternates were very committed to this like constant fight, and they were ahead on kills quite substantially early on. But at some point, Doom needed to find space to also be farming. It's difficult. You have 3 very farmy cores plus a jungle dude. Maybe that's a sense in which makes the draft greedy, but every time I look at these fights, my instinct about how strong a Doom should be, how much it should provide in a fight, it's not linking with what's actually happening. He doesn't even get his ulti off. He's just so weak. He's nearly, yeah, the Disrupt is almost richer than him at this point.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I think it's difficult because obviously it feels like Alternate they wanted to have the Doom continuing to make game impact. He was searching earlier on in the game, at the 17-minute mark. I remember the Doom constantly searching top, trying to get kills on the Lone Druid or invading the jungle looking for Doom targets, and it just hasn't worked out. They haven't gotten the kills they need. Spirits had the opportunity to catch up on the kill score, but also pull way ahead on the farm. And while they do have Invoker and Spectre, 2 heroes that can have really good utility as the game goes later, up against a Lone Druid, a Clinks, a Puck, a Disruptor that scales so well, and of course Bounty Hunter, buffing them all up, this is not an easy game when you're behind for Alternate.
Yeah, I just think that Doom doesn't scale that well if it doesn't have pump, and the way it turned out, their cores all needed to take the space, so they got into this awkward position where they sort of picked not very useful at all.
They are going to try to give it a go onto the Bounty Hunter. The Roche is getting very low. They should be able to kill a Bounty Hunter here. Can they jump into the pit and make something happen? The Blink is on CD. They will lose the Aegis. Goes over to the Clinks, and now Herbost, who's already been so difficult for them to kill. 2 lives.
Yeah, and soon to be a BKB as well. And at that point, He's gonna be very difficult to deal with. I guess you have to fiend grip him, but getting away with the fiend grip pretty difficult.
Oh, there's a glimpse backwards onto Exotic. Nice tornado EMP going to be coming down as well as the key of the puck. Finish just the door. Drain coils, 4 of them. The fiend grip going out onto her both. Will it be enough? They've taken out Phonic. The bear is getting low. Iceberg taking a lot of damage here. The dome perfectly placed, and now her boat's going down. The nightmare up the bear. Ghost going to go for the TP away. Will they be able to stop him? Yes, they get the infernal blade off. It has the mini stun. Her boat looking to be in a lot of trouble. They throw out the dust, and Exotic Deer just gonna run after this fellow. One more auto attack, and despite the start of that fight, alternate take it.
By the way, I think her voice forgot he had Aegis or something because he respawned and auto attack creeps a few times, and then he was like, oh, maybe I should get out of here. And then it was too late. I think he might have escaped to be ran away as soon as he spawned. So a bit of a strange one there, but the fight itself is mostly determined by Darkseid and Vector. There's a reason that this is a combination of heroes that's been picked for, back as far back as Dota 1. It's just really difficult to take a fight head on against that combination of heroes, and that's what it was. There wasn't any initiation advantage from Team Spirit. They didn't have their bounty up, they didn't have vision, and they had to fight literally straight into the Darkseid sector, and that's where alternates are in there.
So for alternate, doing some good work. Look at that dip in the net worth. 5,000 gold swing in their favor. And this game, just when I thought Team Spirit had begun the snowballing that we were talking about. I mean, they have an axe on this puck. This puck is huge. About to have a sheep stick. Maybe we'll go Lincolns. That could be an option too to deal with Doom. But, I mean, I thought Team Spirit for sure would be set up for the next few team fights, and that last one was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble now is that the way that the heroes match up in terms of what they want to do. Alternate are quite happy to have these 5v5s, and it's not... I don't have... Spirit don't have... They have ways to make pickoffs, they do, but to get proper value out of your lone druid, you want to group and go, which is encouraging those 5v5s, and for them to win those 5v5s, they really need to get good at engaging. For that, they need good vision. Bounty, again, it is often overlooked when a support's picked off the importance of it, but he was picked off before the fight, he wasn't there, so they couldn't track people before it started, which makes it difficult for them to decide how they want to initiate, who they want to burst down or disable to start with. If they can get the correct initiation, if they can get a nice static storm or pack silence and coil, or Klink's just bursting someone down really quickly, they can win those fights. But if it's just a kind of crude, everyone charges each other as they falls, it's gonna favor alternate because that's how Darkseid and Spectre work, never mind Invoker.
Olivo standing with the DD behind some trees. DD does just run out. Oh gosh, they see her both. They doom him up, vacuum him back, and the cold snap more than enough to stop him from moving anywhere. Doom getting that kill. Another pickup on the core of Spirit.
And Doom gets to an item and immediately we see an impact of it. It's just there's a new thing team can do. You can blink and doom someone and that's them. And I think it was 2 minutes ago they killed Rush, he had Aegis, and he needed 600 gold for BKB. And he's just regressed from there. He's lost the Aegis, he's died twice, and he's no closer to his BKB.
Meanwhile, alternate with the Invoker, they have some decent push. Obviously, Alacrity plus the Forged Spirits can do some good damage. They decide to back on out, even though they have 30 more seconds with Havost in the grave. They want to try to push out that top lane. Getting another tier 2 seems more secure, and of course, both teams knowing that the Aegis isn't respawning for at least another 4 minutes.
Yeah, and if you're alternate, you don't want to force it at the high ground if you don't need to. It's a lot easier for them to take the fight there. It's a lot more difficult to get out of your Spectre Darkseid combo. Doom didn't have his ulti up, and also I think alternate just... I think they're pretty confident that they can outscale in terms of what their heroes do in this game.
Well, Bounty Hunter sees a bunch of them up in the jungle. Puck gonna initiate onto L. Bane in a lot of trouble, but Spectre wants on in. Doom coming in as well. There's a nice static storm landing on top of them, but the kinetic field only Exotic Deer caught in it. Ghostic taking a lot of damage. Exotic Deer actually getting low from Klinks. Will they be able to save his life? No, Exotic Deer will fall, and now Kessler is going to be the next down. Her both fighting 2v1 against Invoker, but Darkseid comes back in. Invoker will go down. And Darkseid just decides to run away from the dead bodies of his team. Puck isn't done yet, but also having a blink on the Darkseid means that he should be just fine to get out.
Yeah, so I think what we see in this fight is that alternates, what's crucial to the fights be successful, like the one at the bot lane, is they actually want to be initiating on Puck. They want to be catching Puck in some way. If Puck was caught in the bot fights in the Invoker Spectre Darkseer combo, whereas in this fight, because the hero is not in it, so it looks really nice. Invoker Spectre Darkseer catch out the other two cores at the start, but they don't finish off the Kings. And I don't think they actually killed the Lone Druid either, did they?
No, they didn't finish off the Lone Druid. They only got the Disruptor and the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. So the cores go low, but they don't kill them. If it's a Puck, it's a different story, because again, Iceberg is the only player on his team who's got this versatile, like, jump around, control different parts of the fight role. He can make that happen, and then he can maximize the value of the damage output that his other heroes have, that the Lone Druid and the Klings have. Without the Puck, they can't do that. You can just kite around them, you can out-control them. So, right now, Puck is the most important hero in this game.
Additionally, Puck just finished up the Lincoln, so suddenly that Lincolns can be thrown on Clinks to stop the Doom coming out there. You can stop one of Invoker's spells like the Cold Snap. It's not the most ideal, but if you force them to take an extra second to Doom someone, maybe that's the phase shift blink out by Puck. Maybe that's the Ghost walk away from her boast.
Yep, and this is, I mean, he's literally top net worth. This is Iceberg in his elements. That's where he wants to be. Top net worth, just like roller coastering the game. And we'll see if he maintains the composure, if he's calm in these fights, if he's controlling them the way he has been. It's look pretty decent, but it should be a warning to them, especially that one really bad fight they had towards the bot lane. Especially the game, as we were saying, Ultimate kind of outscale them. Puck needs to keep this level of play for the rest of the foreseeable game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. This game, we take a look at it, it might be 5,000 gold in favor of Team Spirit, but it doesn't feel like it because, again, we're at the stage 37 minutes in. Whoever wins a team fight can push down towers, racks. There's just a lot of force on both of these teams. And
yeah, it's just, I mean, the reason, so Spectre is a hero who it's very easy for Spirit to deal with if he's locked down and Klings and Lone Druid can just unload on him. But if he's not, those heroes really don't fight against the Spectre very well because he's much faster than them, he can kite out. And that's the kind of reason I emphasize the Puck.
Okay, BKB gonna be coming out from Havos. There's the Haunt lagging the game a little bit. There's gonna be Puck jaunting around. They've immediately killed off the Bounty Hunter. They're going for more. Spectre uses the Monster, but is caught under the Static Storm, and Havos with, vacuumed up to the high ground. Not gonna be able to do too much as long as they get away from his positioning. Glimpse back onto Cancel, will spell his death. A nice play by the Disruptor before going down. L getting rooted up, and it looks like it will be 2 for 2. Supports for supports. Bane buys back. Nisha blinks away. Where's the rest of the team? Ghostic, they're coming in for the Lone Druid. Puck is there though with quite a bit of damage with the Veil, and Exotic Deer can't attack him because he's taking so much damage from the rest of the bear. Now Nisha in a lot of trouble on the sidelines there for the Puck. A couple more auto attacks will do the trick. The Meteor right off the mark. Deafening Blast will catch up. Ghostic, one more auto attack, they will bring him down, and Bane back into the fray. Does not have Fiend's Grip. Might be able to Nightmare someone if he can just see them. There's gonna be the blink over. Iceberg has found Exotic Deer, but the orb misses, and now doesn't have the blink away. Does just have to orb over the sidelines, unable to kill off that Spectre. And so, all things considered, well, kind of nobody won that fight.
Yeah, I think that's it's at the time that Havos got stuck on a cliff, he had no mana, and he was just this Kling stuck on a cliff. And if they'd found a way to go there and kill him, it would have been great. We see them pinging at the end of the fight. Like someone was saying, hey, he was there. We should have done something about him. They Sunstrike to scout just in case he was still there, but he wasn't.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Again, based on what I was saying, the longer the game goes, if the trades are even, it probably does favor alternate. The Spectre is going to be more difficult to deal with. And right now the Puck's been the only thing that can kind of scare or control the Spectre. Because the damage output from the Klings and the Lone Druid are good, but they don't have ways to... In terms of the tactics of the fights, in terms of like how they're going to move in and out of the fights, they don't have any way to control the Spectre, and each time he gets a new item, it becomes more difficult for the pack to solo control him.
Do you think this is potentially a game where Spectre may feel forced into a BKB just because there is a lot of control on heroes like the Disruptor being glimpsed back into a Static Storm kinetic field?
We haven't seen it happening too often from the Disruptor. It's mostly been I mean, it is something that can happen. But I don't know. It's a difficult thing to say. I think maybe actually. See Spectre, I mean, I've been exactly based on what I was saying now. If Spectre has a BKB, it can just ignore the pack and fights as freely as it likes to, which is a very favorable situation. So I don't think it would be that bad, but I also, at the same time, don't feel like it's necessary.
My just reward.
Havost going to be running into enemy territory again. He does have the BKB, a Lincoln's Thorn on top of him. Bounty Hunter with a Lotus as well. So they've got a lot of ways to help out Havost. Having trouble.
Yep. And it's really nice actually. You know, I was talking about the kind of weaknesses of the heroes that doesn't do anything defensive, but once you have a mech, once you have a Lotus Orb, there's important plays for you to make as a Bounty Hunter, although in most of the recent fights, Goblak's been dying like immediately, instantly as the fight breaks out, and maybe that's something he needs to work on in terms of his positioning, because it's not like Spectre's solo killing him. He gets like being stripped or something like that. He gets caught by an enemy hero.
I think the big thing here, obviously, smoke coming out from alternate. It really does feel like what you talked about earlier. Who they kill first in the fights, destroying the Bounty Hunter, destroying the puck early leads to alternate winning, and vice versa. If Team Spirit are able to have Iceberg make impact, get a big Dream Coil onto everyone, all of the fights with like a 3-man Dream Coil have resulted in a win for Spirit. Someone's getting doomed. Let's see how it goes. Phonic takes a bit of damage here. The Spectrum Horn comes on in. Iceberg already there on the sidelines. They have taken out the Disruptor. Exotic Deer stuck in that Static Storm, being forced to fight up against the Bear. Definitely Flawless pushing everyone backwards. Meanwhile, Flinks on the sidelines trying to pound her way into Exotic Deer, who's just trying to run away. Can be seen up. Sunstrike gonna kill off the Bane with the Bear. Exotic Deer has been found by it. Invoker tossed up in the air. Bounty Hunter will fall, but they've lost their core. Invoker soon to follow. Havost may be doomed, but it doesn't matter. And the Glimmer Cape runaway just going to be what comes out of Nisha.
Yep, so Puck controlled Spectre, so Spirit won the fight. That's, I mean, maybe that's an argument against BKB that Puck already does have Vags, which is still, so can still kind of hold your place, even if you go for BKB, unless you use it preemptively. I'm not sure. It sounds like I'm oversimplifying things. I kind of am, but I feel like it's Iceberg just continues to do a very good job, and Wiley does his team continues to be a hit in these fights. But they still need to be very, very worried. There'll come a time where he gets caught by a Fiend's Grip, or I mean, with Lincolns it's more difficult, but somehow Pack goes down to the start of the fight. Ultimately, they're gonna wipe the floor with Spirit if it happens.
Another Age is going the way of Havost. They are pulling further and further ahead. They still haven't broken the base. We're back to that tense situation. If you're alternate here, Scant, would you recommend that they just try to avoid fights, maybe get the Shivas done on the docks here, get Spectre another item to replace that Aquila, just avoid for the next 5 minutes so you don't have to deal with the Aegis? Or do you try to get smoke pickoffs?
I mean, they'll be avoiding fair fights, but by fair I mean everyone, kind of honest, everyone's there, you all see each other, all use your spells, but if they can find a fight where they have a numbers advantage or vision advantage or element surprise, they'll definitely go for it. And it looks like there's going to be some Spectre illusions, potentially baiting an initiation.
Yeah. I'll immediately know that those are illusions, and obviously alternate now have a good idea of where everyone is. Invoker trying to get some split push on. Something we haven't talked about much because there has been so much fighting, but I was going to ask you earlier if you think one side or the other has a better split push potential, but they don't need it. They're just going head on head.
Yep, well, they, as we were saying, they ultimately don't want a fair fight, and so for exactly what you just push into the enemy team's high ground, and they have it loot Draxes while they take that fight.
Yeah, they have to fight here. Tornado comes out. And he just knocked up the Bear. Ice Wall drops. There's a vacuum onto just the Bear and the Puck, and there it is. The Haunt comes out. Where is Spectre going to go? Doom has jumped aggressively forward. He still hasn't doomed anyone. He's going to get blown up before he's able to. This hero has no buyback. Both in the BKB. 3-man Dream Coil coming out. Supreme is caught there. Cutting Dreams coming out from Nisha. Fiend's Grip, but no, immediately disabled by the Lotus Orb, and L going to fall. Nisha looking to be dead next. Spectre can't do anything, just kind of playing on the outside of the fight, trying to bring somebody low. Havost actually pretty low there. They're working in on the Puck, but the Rack's already gone. Tornado will manage to hit Puck and the Disruptor. Maybe there can be some sort of cleanup. They'll share the Sunstrike. No, it misses on everyone. Kinetic Field blocking them from coming. Exotic Deer getting rooted up there. And all of this team fight, Havost back healed up. There just seems to be nothing to do for alternate. They've lost the Racks, got no return kills.
And everyone just gonna TP away except Puck, who can kind of jaunt and blink, get away. Doesn't actually have a TP. I guess that would be the next stop for Puck to change into travels. But it's really been, for the last 20 minutes of this game, it's kind of been the iceberg show, and continues to be the iceberg show. I just need to stress, like, in any of these fights, if he slipped up and had a bad fight, just executed something, it really would be a totally different story. But been totally on top of controlling things, and that's where Spirit like him to be. That's the, we talk about it, their team is kind of in some ways built around him. And he's, you know, he's showing why in this game.
Ghost as well doing a good job focusing the right heroes in team fights and helping to bring them down. Diffusal going to be what comes out of the Spectre next, but whether it'll be enough, there are just so many other items. The Lotus Orbs and Ghost and Lincoln Spheres did a lot of work that last team fight. Unsuccessful Fiend's Grip, because as Bane went to go cast the animation, the Lotus Orb was thrown out and of course immediately cancels the Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, and I also want to go back to this Doom we did talk about earlier. Like, he's just extremely underfarmed for where 4-position Doom you usually expect to be at 46 minutes. And I don't want to say he didn't have game impact, because early on he had a lot of game impact. He was getting a lot done. But he just couldn't keep up with the farm because they couldn't find enough space on the map to have 4 heroes farming, and they felt like the other 3 cores are more important. But unfortunately, Doom is a hero that I think we might, there's regular supports you'd rather have in this position. You'd probably rather have a Lion with just Tranquil's Blink than a Doom with just Tranquil's Blink at 46 minutes of the game. Because he's struggling to even get his Doom off at the moment. He's struggling to have an impact.
Agreed. Well, the Ion Shells are being thrown out by Nisha. They're ready. Ice Wall is down. All 5 of Team Spirit are here, but they're doing a really good job of not playing too far up. Doom blinks out of the kinetic field, wants nothing to do with this business, as you said. Needs to get that Doom off. Havost has the Lincolns broken. They Nightmare up the Bear so that there's less damage going down on their tower, but of course toggled off, and here we go. Tornado, no follow-up. That's one big team fight spell that's going to be on cooldown for a while now. Supreme has to do something, and meanwhile, Klink's just going to walk on a 3-9 vacuum into a wall. A beautiful play there. Also, immediately the Horde coming out, but Nisha taking so much damage here. They'll drop the meteor through, but it's Nisha who dies, has to fly back. Her both getting low, but still isn't dead yet, taking a lot of damage here. Finally goes down. It's just the Aegis. And Puck has paused because her boast is DC'd.
Yeah, and Spectre's busy being glimpsed back, I believe. So it looked like Spirit wanted to kill him. The Klinks is about to respawn right next to him.
Wait, what? Okay, we have small misclicks, I think. I think they thought it said go, because, you know, it's a very tense moment. For everyone.
Wow.
You were saying Exotic Deer is in the process of being... Hey, I know it's tense for me. Whenever there's a pause in the middle of a team fight, because now I gotta start yelling again. It's just awkward.
I mean, well, it's just also awkward because that's like, that kind of like quickly unpause the game and then repause it can actually affect the outcome of the game. And I don't think that it's deliberate, but it's, you can imagine Spirit feeling like this is on a knife's edge. It's not cool, guys, not cool. But they're not complaining, so we'll see. There's a reconnect, another disconnect. It's gonna reconnect again. Puck has already used the ulti. That's one very important thing. And the Disruptor's kinetic field is, I think, been up for a little while already.
Yeah, they kinetic fielded. The other thing, the kinetic field, I believe, is already down because they used it earlier. The thing that I think is really problematic, of course, is Doom did not get the Doom off again, and there is a buyback that the Dogseer dropped, but I guess has the Lotus Orb. That's actually good impact. It's often hard to find impact with a Dogseer though who doesn't have their vacuum up. Or
so
the wall.
Lone Druid is actually just busy raxing the Spirit is attacking the racks. Well, I'm assuming that the call's being made by Disruptor, hey, I'm glimpsing him back, everyone try to kill him. But without the Puck's ults, if they don't get like an entangle or something, they don't really have a way to lock the Spectre down. He's got a dagger, he's got a bunch of purge charges, and still 4 HP. So it wouldn't, it's not, I feel like it's not completely impossible for him to try and fight. It depends on what's Invoker used so far. What does he have left? It doesn't look like he's got anything.
The
really
Tornado
right now.
might be back up.
Well,
And
if Klinks just never comes back, that'll certainly be good for Team Alternates. That'll help.
That's, they have at least, I believe, I'm gonna guess for StarSeries that they have the standard 15 minutes of pause time for each side per game. Hopefully we're not here for that time, but Hobos does seem to be having some internet problems. I spoke too soon. And that'll
You see that? They're writing 4.
Very polite of Nisha. Hey, they did win game 1. I think they get to get a little bit tense. What? So Haunt's down. Pretty much all the ults are down. Gold Black thrown out. He's already used his mech. He's throwing out a lot of tracks, of course. Yeah, there isn't going to be a glimpse for a while. That's the kinetic field coming up. That they will most likely catch Spectre in, since she's already used her Manta. So she could be in a bad spot, even with 3k health. That gets melted through, especially when her boast respawns, if he ever reconnects.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking about the Invoker, because there isn't... Darkseid doesn't really have anything to help Spectre right now, and Bane's got nothing, and Doom's dead. So Spectre's pretty tanky, and with a little help, maybe could fight through all these heroes, actually. It depends a lot of, what help is going to come from Invoker, which spells can still come out in the next couple of seconds. There's someone who's... I feel like someone is cold snapped.
You feel like someone is cold...
Supreme is cold snapped. He must have cold snapped
someone
of the Lotus Orb.
he cold snapped Iceberg, I think, when the Lotus Orb was applied.
That's pretty awkward, because he's got Radiance burn him, so it's going to be actually difficult to help the...
I think he felt like he needed to. This is a hard defense. I mean, obviously we can already see that there's one down for alternate. This is a really hard defense.
Yeah. I mean, look, this Rax will definitely die. If the Spirit Bear keeps attacking it, it's going to die no matter what. Like, even if alternate were to win the fight, there's no saving a Rax, that's for sure. So it's going to be a net pretty good position for Spirit after the fight. But it's just a question of, like, do they kill a Spectre and actually just win the game because Spectre doesn't have buyback? Or do they just get the Rax and alternate able to pull out? Or I guess the best case scenario for alternate is somehow they actually watch Spirits.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see how that's possible for alternate though.
Spectre deals a lot of damage. It's just like, if they don't coordinate very well with the Spectre, he deals a lot of damage with his hits, and he also just deals a lot of damage with his dispersion and tanking them, so they need to get it right.
Certainly a difficult one. I was really hoping that if you opened up, you know how you can open up Invoker's, like how to get each spell? I was hoping it had CDs, but of course it doesn't. Because I am now not super sure what's available. Thank you. It looks like we're ready to go. So let's get back into it. Where I don't know what we'll be seeing come out here. There was the buyback exotic D, it was a glimpse back with Tornado comes out. Most of us backing out a little bit. Both could just turn and fight, and yes, he gets the Rax, finishes it off. Gold Black is very low. L taking so much damage from her bow. Slimmer Kick not gonna save his Let Supreme trying to stand there and fight the Puck coming on through. Manages to Yules himself up and avoid that little bit of damage. Her bow's actually getting pretty low there. Nisha coming back in will have the vacuum up now, and they are just searching for anyone because there are creeps coming into the base. Iceberg actually blinking back with a little bit. Oh gosh, Spectre's just gonna try to kill this bear off. It'll be something. Ghostic does have a resummon, but now they know that they are bearless. Alternate can make something happen, and after that long pause, kind of an anticlimactic comeback.
It's pretty bad that they didn't have reveal. I feel like Darkseid or someone should be holding a gem. Kings would definitely have died if there was reveal up for alternate there. And the final item for Iceberg is going to be a refresh orb, replacing the veil, and Iceberg now really has all the tools that he needs to do all the things to control the fight. And that's what we've seen time and time again this game.
They actually had a gem. They bought a new one because they bought one, they lost it to the Lone Druid for alternate, and then they bought another one, and I believe it was the Doom holding it, so is the gem just sitting around somewhere? I have no idea where it's gone now. Oh no, one's on Funnick, so they got their gem stolen because the Doom died again.
Oh, I see. guess maybe it's time to invest in some sentries or extra dust. I mean, they've got dust on Doom now, but can you rely on Doom to be there when you need the dust?
He's having an incredibly difficult game.
Yeah. Oh, there's another gem. I mean, the game started well for him, and it's again, it's hard. It's not even clear if you criticize the player for struggling to keep up with the farm when you have 3 very farm-intensive cores.
I mean, he spent a lot of gold on gems as well, when you consider those things. And as you pointed out, 3 cores, Doom been trying to make stuff happen by dooming people up, just not connecting. Spectre is going to be off elsewhere farming. Let's see if they can make it happen. A ward is dropped inside. Nisha will make quick work of that with the help of some Forge Spirits, but this bear can just slow siege this, even with the Enfeeble on his head.
Okay, so Dox is holding the gem now. That's a lot better, because he can't die that easily or at the beginning, probably. But we're going to see Clink sneakily escaping just because of invisibility at this stage in the game, which shouldn't be happening.
Tornado comes up to kind of melt through the creeps, unfortunately. Clinks. Oh, Doom jumps in, manages to get the Doom onto Ice Club. There it is. A beautiful vacuum back, but they're all standing under the kinetic field. BKBs have been popped. Bane already dead. Doom getting low. Havos is gonna rip right through him. There's a track up there, and they kill off the Doom. The wall comes down. Nisha trying to do what he can. Havos is finally brought down. They manage to salvage this fight. Comes with the Dream Coil onto 3. Puck coming on through onto their backlines. Can they kill off Iceberg? They've already done really well. Iceberg pops the refresher. And there are gems on the deck.
Dire's middle tower.
Spectre will see this one. And somehow Alternate win that team fight. Really nice vacuum. I was surprised it worked so well after they didn't drop the wall immediately.
Oh, somehow. They Doom pack. That's how. That's literally the only time it's happened all game, and possibly the only time it will happen all game. And on that basis, I feel like, given that Puck gets doomed to start the fight, the way it ends up is still for Spirits. It's like, that's the worst possible thing that can happen at the start of the fight, and they only go slightly behind. Part of that is because I think Alternate actually, I almost feel like they were like, we just have to take a gamble, let's try Doom Pack. Like you're half expecting not to be able to succeed, and when they succeed in Dooming Pack, they all get so excited about it. They just charge in guns ablaze and get caught in the Disruptor ulti. I don't know, it's a weird dynamic, but I think we probably won't see Puck getting doomed again, and I think on the other hand, if we do see them managing to successfully doom Pack again, they'll probably get more out of it than they did that time.
Well, it does put a little bit of a dent in the net worth graph, but of course Team Spirit are 20,000 gold ahead. Under 8,000 experience now, but I don't know if that'll continue. So obviously it's a little bit easier for Team Spirit to farm. And Lone Druid has now got an MKB on the bear as well, so no more mischance from that Radiance on Exotic Deer. Oh, and we've got a catch out though. Let's see, there's a nice static storm being laid down. Doom in a lot of trouble here. Again, the Lotus Orb sends back the track onto the Bounty Hunter, and Joker able to play into them up on the sidelines, but now getting smacked by the bear, who comes in with the horn. Will Goldblack go down? Yes, he will. Can they find Funnick? Exotic Deer trying to go forwards, but stuck in that kinetic field, and it's just going to be the Bounty Hunter. And for Alternate, they have to worry about the lanes pushing in since they've lost a Rax.
Yeah, the best case for Alternate would be to get a free rush of this, which I think it's probably is enough. It's not just the bounty being dead, it's the Disruptor and the Puck ulti being down.
Okay, speaking of ultis being down, Puck looking to move on out of this. They're both standing there, takes the Deafening Claws, but manages to pick up the Invoker, shows off that BKB, gets doomed up here, but do they have the follow-up? Exotic Deer is trying to vacuum back into the wall. The dust flies out as well. They've got the damage for Havos. They bring him down. Now they have to fight up against the Lone Druid, who is ripping right through them. Savage Roar forces them back while they're still taking the Radiance burn. BKB on the bear makes it hard to hit, and Cancel will fall there. There's going to be Nisha in the back line trying to manage to do something here. Invoker's brought back, drops the meteor on top of the Puck, Deafening Claws as well, drops another meteor down on top of them. Iceberg getting away with a tiny amount of health, but they've taken out the Lone Druid, and there are no buybacks suddenly on Team Spirit. What happened here? Puck manages to blink away, picks off the Bane. Will they be able to find him? There are gems all over the place, and if Puck is just a pain here, they will not push in, because they'll spend too much time looking for the Puck. And it looks like Puck may be able to do that. Exotic Deer is working on their tier 3s. The buyback comes out from Bane, having to deal with their base because they have all these creeps inside of it. They've lost 2 full lanes of Rax now with the range going down in top. And Alternate even it up.
Yeah, they get mid-Rax for sure. They probably get 2 sides of Rax. I don't think Puck is enough to stop them.
No, Bounty Hunter is back up.
What I was saying before, like, Puck is really good at controlling them for the bear and the clinks to deal the damage, but Puck doesn't deal the damage alone. The Spectre can just be super tanky at the front, and I think this is sides of Rax because, yeah, Lone Druid and clinks can't buy back.
There will be so much pressure relieved from Alternate if they can get another Rax here. They get the ranged Rax in mid as well for free. Iceberg still trying to distract them. Disruptor is back up, has the ultimate. So Exotic Deer has to be careful, but support coming in the form of Nisha does have the vacuum wall up in 3 seconds. And they will back out Alternate, making a huge dent in the lead from Spirit.
Yeah, it was I think it was a little bit of a greedy decision by Vost to stand his ground there in the mid, and he made a kill on the Invoker, so it's difficult to... He kills the Invoker, stands his ground, gets doomed, and dies as a result. The part he doesn't have buyback, Invoker does, and so to trade his life when the Invoker is bad there. And obviously he wouldn't know that Invoker does have, but he knows he doesn't have, and maybe needs to be more cautious in that position. Also, desperate to get this rush if they can, precisely because Invoker used buyback.
Yeah, they have to know there are buybacks on CD. There's going to be the Fiend Strip onto Habos, so can they pick him off here? Backing back into the wall. Habos taking a lot of damage. Ready to get the BKB off. They need the physical damage, but they're all caught under the static storm. Doom comes in. He's trying to doom someone, but he's silenced up. Story of this Doom's life, and the bear is about to go to town on them. Invoker with a beautiful tornado, delaying the rest of the team engaging. Ghosting actually quite low, but his bear just going to rip on through Supreme. Doom's dead. State of the game. Puck jumping in aggressively. Exotic Deer thinking about going in onto that, but everybody else seems to have gotten out, and Doom does have buyback, so not nearly as bad as it could have been for Alternate.
Yeah, so Spirit want to try and take rush here. They definitely want to try and steal the rush, and I think Alternate will fight them for it. I think. Well, oh, Spectre's keeping out without horns, so I guess not. That's...
Oh.
Okay.
They are going to pick up... Did he just eat the cheese for fun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he ate it because there was no one who could take it, and he wanted to take both the Aegis and the cheese.
Oh, and Invoker jumps in aggressively. Nice back to back. All of them hit by the Deathling Boss. Meteor gonna come through. There's the Haunt from the Spectre. They'll pick off the Bounty Hunter. And now they're looking for more Puck. Can they catch this slippery fish in Iceberg? The Lincoln has been popped. Puck can jaunt over. Does in fact decide to go forwards. Nisha actually backing out a little bit because here comes Clinks. Just rips right through the Doom. Again, a team fight without him being able to have that impact that he wants. Exotic Deer getting glimpsed backwards into the Static Storm, and he will fall. The Spectre does have buyback, immediately uses it, but they've lost the Bane. The BKB on the Lone Druid. Supreme's gonna go down here as well. And it's a disaster for Alternate. It was looking so good for them, but suddenly it's looking like they will lose it all. Nisha trying to stand there will go down. They have buybacks only on the docks here.
Yeah, and look, the reason that Alternate got so much value is because the enemy team's cores didn't have buyback, and they did, and they used theirs. But the flip side of that is once the enemy team respawns and you're the ones with the buyback disadvantage, suddenly the game gets a lot more difficult. So let's see if there's a miracle for
There's the vacuum wall, does come out, it does a good amount of damage there. Iceberg getting low, Exotic Deer just trying to stand and fight, but the tower Ancient is falling, it's going to go down. That'll be the GG's. And we will see Team Spirit force it to a game 3. Alternate have to win another one if they want in, but it's anyone's game coming up next.
Yeah, and Iceberg ends the game with his streak intact. I think it was a beyond like streak. And I think that really does represent the game very, very well. There were a few different periods of the game for Team Spirits, and in each and every one of them, Puck really did carry them through.
Well, once again, folks, I'm Llama Down Under. I've been joined by Scancel. We can both be found